Story 1. I travel a lot for work, mostly boring conferences in forgettable cities. But last summer, I booked a budget hotel on the outskirts of town to save the company a few bucks. I'd stayed in worse places, so I didn't think twice. Check-in was uneventful. The lobby smelled faintly of stale coffee and industrial cleaner, with plastic plants drooping in dusty corners. The front desk clerk barely looked up when he handed me my keycard for room 218. I remember thinking how the carpet in the hallway felt soft under my feet, but reeked of mildew, like it had never fully dried after years of steam cleaning. I've always preferred Airbnbs to hotels. Cheaper, cozier, and it feels like you're borrowing someone's life for a few nights. I travel alone a lot for work, small gigs, freelance shoots, so I know what I like. Quiet, fast Wi-Fi, and a place that doesn't feel like it's been scrubbed down after every guest. Last fall, I booked a little cottage on the edge of a small coastal town. The listing said, "Charming vintage guest house, built 1920s, newly renovated." The photos looked sweet. White curtains, flower boxes, old wood beams. Quaint. I needed a few days away to work on edits, so I didn't think twice. The owner, a woman named Carla, left a note on the counter. "Help yourself to coffee. Fresh sheets in the closet. Please keep the basement door locked." That line made me pause, but older houses always have quirks. Whatever. The first night was uneventful. I stayed up late, tapping away at my laptop on the sun porch, while the ocean wind rattled the window panes. I remember thinking it was so quiet, not city quiet, but an eerie, heavy kind of quiet that made every creak sound like footsteps. By the second night, the house felt different. The draft from the old windows carried faint sounds I couldn't place. A soft knock here, a whisper there. I blamed it on the wind and poured another cup of coffee. Around midnight, I went to wash my mug. The sink faced a narrow door under the stairs, the basement. The knob had an old latch. I swear, as I set my cup down, I heard something. A soft shuffle behind the door, then silence. I knelt down, pressed my ear to the old wood. Nothing. I flipped the latch open just an inch. A stale, cold smell wafted out, like damp earth and mildew. Goosebumps crawled up my arms. I closed it and slid the latch back. Old houses creak, I told myself. The next morning, I noticed something else. While grabbing fresh towels from the hallway closet, I found a tiny door tucked behind the shelves. A crawl space, maybe. It was painted shut, but cracked along the frame. Out of curiosity, I pulled a bit. The paint flaked. I stopped when I heard a faint tapping inside the wall, like someone knocking. Back. I pulled my hand away so fast I scraped my knuckle on the doorframe. A drop of blood fell on the fresh towels. I slammed the closet shut. I wanted to leave. But I'd paid up front for 4 nights, and the weather turned overnight. Sheets of rain hammering the windows. No Ubers for miles. That night, the noises got worse. I lay awake on the couch, too afraid to sleep upstairs. Every hour or so, I'd hear the basement latch rattle, then soft thumps, like someone pacing beneath me. I turned on the TV for noise, but the signal cut out in static. I swear I heard a voice whisper through it. My name, spoken like a question. I texted the owner at 3 a.m. "Hey, is anyone else here? I keep hearing noises downstairs. Should I be worried?" No reply. When dawn finally broke, I packed my stuff in a haze of exhaustion. I needed to see it with my own eyes, prove to myself I wasn't losing it. I grabbed a flashlight and opened the basement door. Each step down felt like it sank deeper into something rotten. At the bottom was just an empty dirt floor, stone walls lined with old tools, broken furniture. But along the back wall, behind an old cabinet, I found it. Another door. much newer than the rest of the basement. Fresh bolts and a shiny handle, like someone had built it to be hidden. I pulled the handle. Inside was a small, windowless room, a twin bed, a tiny table stacked with old takeout boxes, and a single camera on a tripod, pointed through a crack in the wall, straight up into the bathroom above. My bathroom. I dropped the flashlight. The bulb cracked, plunging everything into a soft, gray darkness. I backed out, slammed the basement door, grabbed my bag, and left the key on the counter. Later, when I got home, I messaged the host about what I'd found. She blocked me within minutes. I tried to report the listing, but it disappeared that same day. Now, every time I book a place, I check every door, every closet, every crack in the wall. And still, sometimes when I'm showering in an unfamiliar house, I can't help but feel it. Eyes on the other side, waiting. Story 2. I travel a lot for work, mostly boring conferences in forgettable cities. But last summer, I booked a budget hotel on the outskirts of town to save the company a few bucks. I'd stayed in worse places, so I didn't think twice. Check-in was uneventful. The lobby smelled faintly of stale coffee and industrial cleaner, with plastic plants drooping in dusty corners. The front desk clerk barely looked up when he handed me my key card for room 218. I remember thinking how the carpet in the hallway felt soft under my feet, but reeked of mildew, like it had never fully dried after years of steam cleaning. I dumped my suitcase on the chair, ordered greasy takeout, and fell asleep to the hum of the window AC unit. The first night passed like any other, until 2 a.m. That's when I woke up to it. A voice, muffled, low, and rhythmic. I sat up, blinking at the red numbers on the alarm clock. It was coming from the wall behind my headboard, the room next door. At first I thought it was a couple fighting in hushed tones, but the longer I lay there, the clearer it became. It wasn't a conversation, just one voice, muttering, then pausing, then muttering again. I couldn't make out any words, just that droning tone, like someone stuck in a loop. I pressed my ear to the wall. The voice stopped. I knocked once, feeling ridiculous. Silence. I lay there, wide-eyed, lamp flicked on, blanket pulled to my chin. Eventually, I dozed off as the first morning light bled through the heavy curtains. At breakfast, I pushed the soggy, scrambled eggs around my plate and asked the desk clerk, "Hey, is someone staying in 220? He frowned, tapped a few keys. "Nope. Vacant since Monday. You're the only one on that side tonight." My mouth went dry. I tried to laugh it off. Maybe the sound carried from another room. Maybe the pipes. Maybe the AC unit. Maybe. I didn't sleep well the next night. I kept the TV on low for company, flicking through infomercials. Around 1:30 a.m., I heard it again. This time, clearer. A hoarse whisper drifting through the thin drywall. My stomach tightened when I realized it was right behind the headboard. The same droning murmur, over and over. Then, the scratching started. A slow, deliberate scrape, like fingernails dragging across plaster. I froze, the remote slipping from my hand. I knocked on the wall, harder this time. 3 sharp raps. The scratching paused, and then, unbelievably, I heard it. 3 knocks back, exactly matching mine. I sat there, heart hammering so loud I was sure whatever, was on the other side could hear it too. I grabbed my keycard and went straight to the lobby in my pajamas. The night clerk looked half asleep, but agreed to check the room with me. We crept down the hallway, our footsteps swallowed by the ugly floral carpet. He slid the keycard and pushed the door open. The air inside hit me first, cold, stale, and tinged with something rotten underneath the fake lemon cleaner. The curtains were drawn tight, making the shadows feel thicker than they should have been. There was no luggage, no sign anyone had stayed there for days. Except the closet door was cracked open an inch, like someone had hidden inside and forgotten to shut it all the way. I don't know what possessed me, but I grabbed the handle and yanked it open. The tiny closet was empty except for a bare twin mattress propped against the shared wall, the side that touched my headboard. In the dim light, I saw deep, ragged scratch marks gouged into the drywall behind it, like someone had clawed at it night after night. The night clerk let out a low whistle. "Weird," he said, too casually. "We should get maintenance to patch that up." I didn't answer. I just backed out, mumbling thanks. I packed my bag before the sun even rose. When I checked out, the day clerk asked if I'd enjoyed my stay. I lied and said it was fine. That was a year ago. Since then, every time I hear a tap on my apartment wall, a neighbor hanging a picture, a pipe knocking in the cold, I freeze. Just for a second, waiting for it. And sometimes, when it's late and I'm half asleep, I knock back, just to see if I'll hear 3 knocks in return. If you made it to the end, you're braver than me. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more stories that'll keep you awake at night. And if you have one of your own, or suggestions for what I should cover next, drop them in the comments or send them my way. You know where to find me.